everybody. I am Camilla Cleghorn here today. Oh, I'm muted. Hold on. I think I just saw something that I'm muted. Am I muted? Can you hear me? I did not set up this computer. Somebody else did. Let me know if you can hear me or not. All right, I'm going to assume you can hear me. We're going to move on. I'm Camilla Cleghorn. Welcome here to the Dice Tower today for a Q&A. So if you have questions, drop them in the comments over here and I will answer what I want to. We'll see. Oh, let's see. Oh, nice. Okay, here we go, Jason. Not a question. All the Dice Tower crew is responsible for games I own and have stored in my storage unit of opportunity. Gotta get that unit of opportunity out. Influence. Butterfly, Roman Ecos are games you've gotten to play with your family. I love those three for that. You know, like they're good games, like really solid games that I enjoy with the strategy and stuff, but light enough that you can play with family and have some versatility there. All right. You can hear me. Okay, good. Whew. It said it was muted for a minute there. That was really weird then. Also, how do I get this off? All right, I'm learning. Here we go. Is it distracting working with a national treasure? Yes, he is very distracting. Not because he's a national treasure, but because he is a big personality. Just kidding, Tom, if you're watching. But also, you can be loud. All right. Oh, Genway. Yeah, so Genway here when we were out at Dice Tower East. I'm sorry, no, at Gen Con here recently. We ran into each other almost every day, oddly enough, in like different random restaurants. So yes, Genway is a lot of fun to actually meet you in person. That was fun. Seems a little low. I wonder if the mic is not pointed right towards me. All right. Let's see. Chad, I've answered this before, but I'll answer it again because it has been a while. How did I get mixed up with the hooligans at the Dice Tower? First of all, kudos. Yes, they are hooligans. Thank you for recognizing that publicly. I got mixed up. I was just part of the local game group here. I moved to the area and ended up meeting Chris and Wendy, and they invited me to a game night here. So I was part of the game night crew, and then Tom invited me on as a guest on one of the spectaculars, and you know, just kind of went from there. Offered me a job, and I'm not completely stupid, so I said yes. Peter, here you get me with Spirit Island questions. Oh, I could talk about Spirit Island all day. I really like spirits that have a lot of movement to them. I like that control and that versatility of them. So ones like Thunder Speaker, Shrouds of Mist. Is it Shrouds of Constant Mist? Shrouds of Mist, whatever Shrouds is. Any of those, Many Minds. Oh, I love playing Many Minds. But then the real, like, really kind of swingy characters as well. I think they create some really good stories. So one of my other favorite is the monkey one. The, oh, you're going to help me out here with this one. Grinning Trickster, because I love his Let's See What Happens card, where, you know, you just pick a land and it's like, let's see what happens right here. Hopefully this is helpful, and you just blind draw a card and play it. I find that really swingy and just a ton of fun. It can be a lot of powerful actions, or completely useless, and that is just a lot of fun. So it's not one if I'm playing solo that I like. I like definitely more of that control aspect, being able to move around and you know, just adapt my strategy and as the game goes. But for in a multiplayer game, Grinning Trickster, I feel like, is a lot of fun. And sometimes you just, you know, wreck house. It's amazing. And sometimes you get wrecked. So anyway, yeah, I really like the ones that have a lot of the moving, you know, that you don't set your presence down and you're not stuck there. So I find that's a lot of fun. Ooh, Coraloo. If you could live in any environment, space, underwater, lava, where would you choose? Not lava. Lava's way too hot. I really like underwater, but I'd have to breathe. I wouldn't want like breathing apparatus to live underwater. I would want like gills or something, you know, to where I could actually live, you know, in my own body, not have to have some sort of apparatus. Because I am a little bit nervous about scuba diving just for that. I just wonder if it's going to be a little bit claustrophobic, you know, a little hyper-focused on, is my equipment going to work? What if I run out of energy? I rarely run out of energy. But no, if I run out of oxygen or something like that. So I just wonder if that would bother me or not. But probably underwater. I find underwater just absolutely fascinating. Although I would need good eyes too, because I think the water at night is super creepy. So I'd need to be able to see underwater at night and like night vision and gills. And then I would say underwater. Either that or high on a mountain top. Oh, I love the mountains so very much. So somewhere in the mountains, like a mountain goat cave. All right, Sean, I did do competitive swimming and I was a coach before. Have I been able to do it since Florida? No. Unfortunately, I think my coaching days for the foreseeable future are behind me. I do try to get in the water and do, some laps, but I did that a couple weeks ago and found out that it is a lot harder these days. It's a lot harder than it was 15 years ago. I made it like down and back and was huffing and puffing like a chain smoker. So it was really difficult. I was struggling. So no, I haven't been able to do it much, but that's just more me not making time for it. There's definitely opportunities down here. But as far as coaching goes, that's a lot of time. It's a lot of time, a lot of energy, and it's really hard on your body. So I am happy to smile upon those memories for a while. Probably won't be getting into it again since being here. All right, Robert. Hi, Camilla. How are you doing? Is the Dice Tower going to attend Essen? Yes, we are still working on who's going to Essen, but yes, the Dice Tower. You know, some of the guys, maybe we don't know yet, but some people will be attending Essen. So definitely swing by our booth and say hi to whoever makes it. How am I doing? I'm doing great. Doing pretty good. No major complaints today. Ooh, here we go. I like this one. Oh man, you guys get me with these Spirit Island and miniature questions. All about them. Um, I was curious, what are some of your favorite miniatures of all time and board game pieces? Oh, you know what? There's water tokens in Planted. It's a new game that new one that just came out through the Target, the Phil Walker Harding game. There's these little waters that are just so pretty. I really enjoyed those pieces. My favorite miniatures. I love the miniatures in Sea of Legends. I haven't gotten my fingers on them yet. Other favorite miniatures. I love the Project Elite nasty monsters. Oh no, I know what it is. Probably the others. Oh, they're so like nasty and gnarly, but also like pretty. Tom tells me that we need to have a discussion on what the word pretty means, but I think the miniatures and the others are very pretty, very attractive. So they're just like gnarled and nasty and just corrupted, and I just love like the corruption of the different sins. So I think the others are probably my favorite. Yeah, probably. I definitely like more of that, more of those kind of creepy, nasty, gnarled miniatures. Not quite the horror ones, but yeah. So those are some of my favorite. And then board game pieces. Again, actually out of the box pieces. Most recently, what immediately comes to mind is the ones from Planted. I found those very, very pleasing to play with. Other than that, it's upgraded miniatures or upgraded pieces. So, all right. Oh, Mike is the national treasure. News to me. When you get ready for reviews, do you play games at home or just in the studio with the Dice Tower crew? We actually don't play as many games as you would think here in the office. I mean, we do play games, don't get me wrong, but I probably only play 2, maybe 3 games a week here in office. And if it's a review I'm going to be in, I'll take it home and fool around with it myself. There's a solo mode or play two-handed, something like that. Sometimes we stay after hours and play or get together on the weekends. There's a local gaming group here that we'll go up to and play games. So a little bit of everything. It's kind of it's kind of a vanilla answer, I know, but kind of whatever it takes. If the one play in the office was enough, and it's enough that I feel like you can get the good review out of it and kind of solid thoughts. If I think I just personally need to absorb the game a little bit, I'll take it home. If I want to see the different player count, something like that, maybe I'll take it to game group. So really just whatever it takes. In office, definitely we play, but probably not as much as you're thinking. We don't just play games all day. Yes. Are you aware that you share a first name with Gonzo's favorite chicken, the most famous chicken Muppet? Has this come up a lot in your life? Not a lot, but yes, I am aware of that, as well as I've heard multiple Foghorn Leghorn jokes, and yeah, just smile and nod and let people think they're original. But yeah, but fewer people know about Gonzo's girlfriend, so kudos for that one. I think that's probably only been maybe 3 times in my life, so that's a little more rare that someone will reference Gonzo. David, is it tough for Tom to work with a national treasure? Yeah, I would not call myself national treasure, but I would see myself as distracting to work with. I think, yes, I tend to be very energetic, just a kind of a large personality and take up a lot of space. So yeah, I try to come to like rein myself back in so that I don't get too, in everything, as I tend to do with my large personality and strong opinions. Do you trust people that drive ice cream trucks? Should I not? I've never thought about it. I think I tend to be a trusting person in general. I give people the benefit of the doubt a lot. It's one of those, like, I'm constantly aware of hazards and dangers, but I also give people the benefit of the doubt. So it's kind of like this dichotomy of like, trust everyone, but everyone's out to get you, But ice cream trucks specifically, I mean, they got ice cream. Nothing bad happens with ice cream, right? Ooh, Adam, you live in Tennessee. Fantastic. Oh, home sweet home. Where's my favorite place to eat in Knoxville? Gosh. My favorite place is no longer there. There was this place in oh shoot, what's the name? It's right there in Townsville as you're going up to the Smokies. It's called, gosh, Townsend. It's right there in Townsend, and it was called Wings Are Us. And, those were, I don't know that the wings were really that good, but like after a long hike, I always ate there, and so they tasted really good because I was just, so hungry. And that was probably my favorite. That was the best wings I've ever had. But it's no longer there. That would be a tough one to answer. There's also this little bar and grill that's right there on the Tennessee River, right on the University of Tennessee campus, that I really like as well. Because then you sit out on the riverfront, and especially on like game day, when you have the Navy that comes in, and just all the tailgating. University of Tennessee, they do tailgating, but like on boats because the river's right there. So you have like all the boat tailgating, and you can just sit out there at this restaurant. It's a little bar and grill. So, yeah, I like that kind of stuff though. As far as food, like I really enjoy good food, but I'm more so into the ambiance or the kind of the feel of the place, and I think that's more of what I go for there. So favorite place, yeah, Wings Are Us, which is no longer. All right, what part of your work for the Dice Tower that is not in front of a camera or meeting people at cons do you enjoy the most? So the biggest part of my job here is just logistics, just handling like shipping and organizing and that kind of stuff. And that is something that brings me a lot of peace, like just organization, and clean surfaces make me very happy. So I'm really good at like purging things and helping let things go. So I really like that. I find that kind of cathartic, is just taking a messy spot and making something good out of it. So right now we're kind of trying to get things organized for the studio and the garage that we're going to be building. And while it's a lot of work, it is my mind works like that. It works in storage and organization and moving, and So that's a lot of fun. I know, Chris is a dork and likes numbers. I'm a dork and likes organization and making things clean and functional organization, So I really enjoy that a lot. Yeah. Oh, Coralu. Okay, so we don't have the same interest in games, but you appreciate the contribution. Thank you for that. I'm glad you can see that you don't have to have the same likes in games to to get along. I mean, there's a lot of different kind of taste out there. So good. I appreciate that. Oh, okay. Let me talk about my dogs. I do love my dogs so much. So my dogs are Great Weimers, which is a Great Dane Weimaraner breed. And so Great Danes are very low key. I mean, they're like the number one apartment dogs, right? So they're super low key, understand boundaries, but then they have poor health. Weimaraners are super high energy and anxiety, but have excellent health. So the idea when they breed the two together is kind of get the best of both worlds. And I have one that was Trogdor, and Trogdor, he is the most handsome puppy ever, and he is more Great Dane, just really tall and lithe. And then the other one, Jagger, he is more Weimaraner. He got more of his dad in him, which is more Weimaraner, and he's just a fluffy mess. He's so chubby. You just want to bite him. He's so cute. Yeah, so Trogdor and Jagger, and they're Great Weimers, my favorite breed of dogs. Was it a difficult decision leaving? Oh, I just realized you said modeling. I would not have put that up there. No, I was a swim coach. I thought you said previous job. That's what I get for not pre-reading. It was not a difficult decision to leave the coaching job because I left. I had moved, and so the job had taken out a lot of all the fun part of the job. I wasn't working with the kids anymore. I wasn't working in the water. I was just doing the admin stuff, and so I was really getting burnt out pretty quickly. So I was already kind of looking to move out of that, and just was looking for the right opportunity. So it was a pretty easy decision for me to let that go and come to work here. Chrissy, I've not tried Welcome to the Moon since our disastrous first play. I have not. I need to. I've looked at it a couple times, but I have not had the chance to. I think think I saw you earlier in the chat saying you were looking at buying a Dice Tower West ticket. If so, we should try again there, because I agree that was a memorable. Let's not say disastrous. It was a memorable first play, right? Oh, I get a lot of guff about being the most violent in games. What's the least violent, vengeful games you love? I do get it, and it is interesting because I do like both ends of that spectrum. I love that grit and the stabbing, the gory kind of stories that come from it, and just the real. I'm a very offensive player. I like the go-to strong, beefy, blow things up, guffaw kind of characters. But I also like the complete other end of the spectrum, like if you give me cute animals or really sweet settings and things like that. So what is the least violent or vengeful game that you love? Probably Meadow. Although you can take people's cards, but it's not trying to get it because they want it. But I just find that game very, very pleasing and very relaxing. But yeah, no. So I really do like both ends of the spectrum. I definitely like the cute games, cute and pretty, or maybe it's floriferous. Maybe that's the least. But again, you can kind of hate draft in that as well. But don't be that person. I don't like that person. Ooh, here we go. Bruce. What's up, Bruce? What's been your favorite outdoor activity to do since moving to southern Florida? I've been snorkeling a couple times, and I do love snorkeling. So that's been a lot of fun to do. And then probably going to the I almost said the Smokies, not the Smokies. Going to the Everglades at night. I'm not doing that right now because it's the summer and there are too many mosquitoes. You can't get out of your car without getting mosquito bites. There are so many mosquitoes right now. Do not recommend it. But during the winter months, I like to go to the Everglades at night, and that's a lot of fun, especially like during when the alligators are out, when it's like alligator breeding season. You can go out on some of the boardwalks and you just shine your flashlight out, and there's just like all these alligators, and so that's a lot of fun, as well as it's neat to be out there. I really like the moon, and so you can be out there with the full moon or the during a new moon. You can see the stars really well from there. So I think that's probably my favorite outdoor activity, has been going to the Everglades at night. I've really enjoyed that. Diana, I have a pretty boring answer to this, I think. Do you have any favorite zoo or have favorite zoo or zoo exhibits that you like. Favorite zoo, I really like the Miami Zoo here. I haven't been to very many zoos, but I really like the Miami one here because I guess they call it an open air one. So there's not a lot of cages. It's just they have designed the park to kind of self-enclose. It's like around the monkey exhibit, there's a big moat because the monkeys don't won't go through the water. Things like that. And so I really enjoy it because I feel like you feel closer to the animals because of that. The zoo exhibits, otters are my favorite animal, so I always go see the otters, and I just sit there and play with them through the glass, and I can just watch them, especially here in the Miami Zoo, because they have this like rock slide that they go down, so you just watch them. They just go up and down the slide the whole time, and I just love that you can see how playful they are. So yeah, I really like the aquatic area. Did I get any insider information on the upcoming Meadow expansion in the storybook? I got to play it. So the storybook, no, when we go to Essen, hopefully we'll be able to see that. But I did get to play the Riverside expansion coming up. And so I don't know if that's insider information, but I got to play it. And it was awesome. I really enjoyed it. I really thought it opened up strategy. So I'm excited to get my hands on that. Jenway, what's my favorite game mechanism? Ooh, that's hard. That's a hard one. I don't know that I don't know that I have one specific one, but I really like open drafting. I find that to be a lot of fun when you have that open information and you can kind of strategize out, as opposed to like a blind pass. So I like that mechanism. Push your luck is fun. In certain games, I feel like that one can also, I wouldn't want that in a heavier game necessarily, but yeah, maybe open draft. I don't think I've done that. Thought about it like that, like specific mechanisms like that I like. I just like games. Diana, I've not had a chance to play Kids Quest. I have played Adventure Tactics, so right now that's my favorite of the two. Ooh, who in the office, if they bring in a new game they're excited to play, are you most likely to agree to play with? Game sight unseen. Probably, I feel like this is a really interesting way to ask, like, whose taste do I most align with? So kudos on that one, on kind of hiding that question in there, slipping it in. Probably Mike. I think Mike and I think very similarly. And so if he's excited about a game, the game mechanisms and like what it's doing, I probably feel like I most align there. But then if Z's excited about a game, it's usually something like kind of obscure, or something that it would be new to me in general, whether it's a smaller publisher or designer. She has a lot of like hidden gem kind of things, so I feel like if he's excited to play something, it's more like a real opportunity, to play something. I know if Chris now he has poorly recommended so many games to me that he's kind of like narrowed in on my taste a little bit more. So if he's like, hey, I'm excited to play this, I want to play with you, it's probably, I feel like there's a higher chance that I would actually like it, because he does kind of has learned to my taste and to kind of filter out a little bit. So yeah, I'd say sight unseen, if they're excited, probably Mike, because I think we think very similarly in games. Oh, the story about how I got into gaming. Oh man. Okay, so my ex was in the military, and so he was TDY for a little bit, and he was on a short deployment for a little bit, and we had a friend, and somehow we got talking about Pandemic, and so we started playing Pandemic, and then when my ex came back, we played Pandemic again with them, and we're like, we just got into this big discussion, like, I really like this game, and it's interesting, there's nothing else like it out there, and that kind of led to well, do we know if there's anything else like it out there? So that led to the Google, and the Google of, cooperative games that you play against the game or something like that. We didn't even know the term cooperative game, you know? And so we did a Google search and had played Betrayal at House on the Hill as well. So we're like, oh yeah, you know, so dug up a copy of that, played it a little bit. And so really it was just through that cooperative game you know, opportunities, and we looked it up. And so then the first, I guess, hobby game purchase we jumped into next was Robinson Crusoe. Robinson Crusoe Adventures on the Cursed Island. And that was like a whew, that was a lot to absorb. But we really enjoyed that, and it just kind of, then we found a local game store and kind of like, you know, that blew our minds. And so just kind of grew from there. But yeah, it was through pandemic, a mutual friend that we really enjoyed playing that with, and then one day just decided to check Google and see if there's anything else like that out there. And yeah, so a lot of fun. Oh, if you're an animal in Everdell or Meadow, what animal would you be and why? Like I said before, my favorite animal is an otter, and I love otters because I think that they balance really well, like being a water and a land animal, you know, and I think that's a lot of fun, and they're just so intelligent and playful as well. They just have a really good spirit about them. So if I were an animal in Meadow, what would I be? And I can now say otter because of the expansion, so I would be an otter. Ark Nova or Terraforming Mars? I'm going to say Ark Nova, mainly because I haven't played Terraforming Mars. I've had multiple people say they want, you know, they want to teach and want to play it, but I just haven't had the opportunity. I don't want to say I have no interest in playing it, but it's not one that I'm seeking out to play. So Ark Nova. The components that get in the way from the top 5 list. So yes, when we were at Gen Con, we did a top 5 list. That was our live show. We did a top 5, and it was, one of mine was components that get in the way. Or, you know, I talk about really liking miniatures and big, just fun in games. The game factor, the toy factor in games, I really like that. But the components that get in the way and make it less functional is really frustrating. So Return to Dark Tower specifically, I haven't played a full game of that. It's more like I've been present when I was playing and stuff, and it didn't really seem to get in the way from, but again, I didn't play the game fully. I just kind of was there and watched it played more or less. So I can't really speak on that one specifically, but, oh, my sunburn showing. Spent a lot of time outside this weekend. So, yeah, so I don't know about Return to Dark Tower specifically. Have I gotten into comics being surrounded by all these comic files? Actually, yes. I read at 37 years old. I read my first comic book not too long ago. It was a Cthulhu one, of course. But yeah, so I won't say I've gotten into it, but it's definitely kind of opened my eyes to it, and that's been a lot of fun. You know, before that, I think my exposure to comic books was the Dogman series by Dave Pilkey, which my son really enjoys. So yeah, so I guess so. They're getting in my mind and my brain. All right, let's see. Do. Yes, Mari, I do paint miniatures quite poorly, but yes, I do. I find it, again, cathartic. It's just fun to put on a podcast or sometimes just, you know, some light music or something like that and paint the miniatures. And then it's a lot of fun to then play it later. You know, it just really brings out the theme. So I do paint miniatures quite poorly, but I do. I very much enjoy it. Right? See, Mike gets it. They're pretty gross. And fantastic. I love the minis. I have played Cthulhu Death May Die. I like Cthulhu Death May Die, and we're going to be playing some more of that coming up here in the office, and so I'm really excited to be part of that play. And so I do like Cthulhu Death May Die a lot. Have I played any pranks on the Dice Tower, folks? Any plans to do so in the future? No, I've not. Kenny is quite the troll around here, so he does a lot of that. I haven't, though. No. I haven't done pranks. That was a big thing growing up with me and my brothers. But they got pretty brutal. So, I don't know. I need to feel out people's humor, like how, like where's the line? Still looking for those boundaries, still feeling the boundaries out because, yeah, my pranks can be pretty intense. Let's see, how did I get into Spirit Island? When you first tried it, had some difficulty understanding what was happening, even when I was using the app. So I got into it before the app. I got into it. It was, so in that gaming group I was talking about, I was the teacher, so I always did the rule book. So I read the rule book. I read the rule book again. I watched a playthrough. I do better on playthroughs and learning games of playthroughs to understand the flow of games than I do on watching like a how to play video. So it's like I like to read it to get the rules, but then watch a how to play, not how to play, I'm sorry, watch a playthrough of it to really kind of understand the flow of the game. And so I did that a couple times, and then I'll play the game, and then I'll read the rule book again after the first play if it's a really good. So it's like I read it, I watch it, maybe read it again, play it, and then read it again just to make sure. And I think that Spirit Island was a lot to absorb that first time. That was, I think, 2 games again. I got it very honest. Like I said, we jumped right in the deep end with Robinson Crusoe, and then we got something else, and then I got Spirit Island. So it was definitely one of my first hobby games that I got into. And it took a lot. It took a lot to kind of really wrap my head around that as well. So how did I get into it? Again, just like, Googling top cooperative games and doing some research and, kind of reading online and watching those playthroughs before I bought it. So yeah, it is a lot though. Stick with it hopefully you've got it, but yeah, stick with it because if you're enjoying it so far, because I think it's worth it. My favorite player count in games, probably 3. I like 3. I feel like 3 gives enough variety but keeps it quick. If you get into 4 or 5, and again, this completely depends on the game, but I tend to be a small group kind of person anyway, like whether it's with my friends or whatever. I really like small groups where there's one group, you don't break out. I feel like if you get into like the higher player count, sometimes you get little sections and side conversations and things like that. So 3, anywhere from 2 to 4. So I say 3, it's right in the middle. Ooh, greetings from Argentina. Hello, Martin. Have I ever tasted dulce de leche? I believe I have. I've had like dulce de leche cake and stuff like that. I don't know, is that a specific thing? I would be highly interested in that because I love caramel. Oh, I love it so much. It's so good. So I have tasted dulce de leche things, but maybe if it's like a specific, I don't know what it is you're referring to. But yes, I really, really like dulce de leche. Oh, do I like unboxings? If so, what's my favorite part? I do enjoy unboxing. There's just something fun about it's just very that discovery, of it as you're taking it out and the excitement and kind of it's like it's your first insight into the game, without the mechanisms in your first like jump into that theme or whatever it is. So I really enjoy it. One of my favorite things about games, this isn't quite unboxing, but like unboxing and then playing and then afterward kind of going through slowly in a game, especially if it's something with a lot of cards, so during the unboxing kind of going and getting a feel for it and kind of letting that excitement build and then playing the game. But then after you play that game and what the components do, to go through and slowly go through the decks and really absorb every card. I love that. Or going through and looking at the miniatures closer. I mean, I just did that the other night. I sat down and I pulled out it wasn't the others. What was it? Dead Man Tells No Tales. I pulled that out again and was like kind of looking at them. And so I really enjoy that kind of slow absorption of a game after a play and what it's like. So yes, I enjoy unboxings, but I also enjoy once the game kind of absorbing it. Each card, each component, that kind of stuff. including in the office, at home, and any gaming groups, roughly how many games do you think you play a week? I'm going to take this as playthroughs, not different games, because sometimes I'll try and play a game 2 or 3 times. I would say I probably play, well, 2, 4, 6, 8, 6 to 10. It really depends on the week. Sometimes it can go up as high as like 12, but yeah, maybe 6 to 10. If I go to like a gaming day, definitely higher, maybe even up to like, 12 to 13. And again, some of those are playing 2 or 3 times, so that doesn't mean I played that many different games. It's actually kind of hard to get some of my old favorites. I was actually just looking at BG stats the other day and I was like, I haven't played Spirit Island since February. And that was like soul crushing to me, not this February. No, it was this February. Or was it last February? I don't know. Anyway, it's been no, it was this February. Yeah, because I remember it being about 6 months. And I was like, that was like soul crushing. I was like, so it's just harder to get some of those favorite games to the table sometimes, especially if they're bigger. But yeah, so I'd say 8 to 10 is probably a good estimate of how many games I play a week, how many game plays. Ooh, Zod, what's my board game pet peeve? I think my board game pet peeve is like when you're in a game and probably someone pulls out a cell phone. That's very, I don't know, just kind of like distracts from the experience. And I don't mean like to use an app. Like an app game, that's completely different, but and it's not like, oh, I have a call, I need to take this real quick, but I mean, we've all been that, someone checking their phone or whatever. That's just really, I find that very distracting. But more distracting, more like, kind of breaks the mood. It's definitely like a mood killer, and it's like, oh, okay, do you want a minute? Like, I find that can be really frustrating. That, or also people that touch the player pieces. This happened to me recently where I was playing a game and someone I was trying to decide if I was going to do something or not, and I was like, okay, I think I'm going to do this, and I'm like reaching for it and somebody takes and moves it for me. Y'all, I was like 0 to 60 anger. I was like raging. I was like, oh, the claws came out, and I was like, yeah. So someone touching my piece, and it was like, oh, okay, I guess you decided I am doing that move. All right, cool. Why am I playing? You want to just play for? Yeah. Anyway, I'm getting angry again. Don't touch my pieces. Is there a story behind the axe? No, I like weapons. I like weapons and the axe. I don't know how I ended up getting an axe. I don't know. I don't know. I think Tom maybe chose that, but I really like weapons. Maybe it was one of the first games. So no, there's not a specific story other than I have a machete, and so I thought it would be a machete, but maybe the axe was easier. I don't know why they went with axe, but I do. The axe and the crossbow are probably like my go-to weapons in games. If I can get one of those two, I will lose the game happily if I can still have an axe or a crossbow. Oh, you're 30 and don't know how to swim, Will. Any advice? Do you want to swim? I'd say figure out if you want to swim, and the biggest advice is relax. If it's because you have like anxiety in the water or something like that, but kind of figure out what is your goal. Is your goal survival, or is it to, I want to not drown one day, or is it I want to actually be functional swimming, But definitely the biggest thing is just relax. Just work with the water. The water should be a support, not something you fight. So you really just have to get a feel of the water. I'd say if you're 30 and don't know how to swim, float. It's something I used to do with my swimmers all the time. One of my favorite drills is just float. And we would spend 5 to 10 minutes, and it would just be a free float. We'd spread out in the pool, and I'd be like, all right, everybody float and just play with the water. Play changing your weight and your center of gravity, and just get comfortable with it to learn how to work with the water rather than against it. So relax. Oh, Chad, I don't have an answer to this, but it's such a good question. If you could pick a theme song that would play every time you enter a room, what would it be? Oh, man. I don't know that I would want that. I wouldn't want a theme song every time I enter because I would want to be more like an assassin, or something like very light, kind of sneak in and only be seen if I want to be seen. So a theme song would definitely throw that off. It would give it away. So nothing. But I wouldn't want to go silent when I walk in. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to say no theme song. That's what I would want. David, top 3 horror movies. Funny enough, I am not really into horror movies. They're a little too realistic for whatever reason. I can play it in games, and I love it, and I like getting into it, and it's I really enjoy some horror reading, but movies just for whatever reason, that just gets in my mind. So I don't watch many horror movies. If I do watch a horror movie, it's because my best friend is in town and she loves them, and then I make her snuggle up because I get really scared. And so yeah, like there was this one time we were on a girls trip or whatever, and we ended up watching a horror movie, and I was like, oh, we're sleeping on the couch tonight, me on one, you on the other, because I'm not sleeping alone. So yeah, horror movies, I'm terrible at that. Like I said, I mean, Final Girl, one of my favorite movies, and it's even after like horror tropes and stuff, and I still I haven't seen the movies, but I read the lore, I know the stories. But yeah, movies are just a little too realistic. I don't know. For some reason, my mind just grasps them as reality. Whereas in board games or books and things like that, it doesn't. I have that level of separation. So, top 3 horror movies. No, thank you. Do you think you're any good at board games or any mechanisms in particular? Nah. Working here has definitely shown me that I'm not good at board games at all. I am good at, I think, cooperative strategy. I think I am. But then generally, if I'm playing competitive, I think I'm very good at groupthink and building off other people. So like if they put something out, I'll be like, oh yeah, or this or that, And so I think working together in games, I'm good at that. But if it's competitive, I'm good tactically. I think I'm good at taking the best advantage of my turn and setting up combos. But I'm not very good at games. I don't think so. No. But I have a lot of fun. So if fun is good, then yes, I'm fantastic at games. Terrier Halo, have you played any RPGs? And are you aware that there's an RPG called Murder Hobos? No and no. I was not aware of that, and I have not played many RPGs. I am highly uncreative, I have found. So an RPG is kind of intimidating to me. I wouldn't, one, know where to start, and two, I'm just not creative, coming up with the stories. And I'm sure you guys have seen in live plays and that kind of stuff, the guys, where they go off on their singings and making up songs and stuff like that. And that is just not my forte. I would not consider myself witty or very creative like that. That's just not how my mind works. I tend to be more linear, logic based. And so no, RPGs are very intimidating to me because I'm incredibly boring. My son loves Andor and Kids Chronicles. Do you have any recommendations or games similar to those to explore? Kids Chronicles are fantastic. English is my forte. But I would say maybe try Adventure Tactics. We were talking about it earlier. My son he enjoyed that. It was a little bit long for him, but he's not really a gamer, has a very short attention span. And the play sessions with everything, can be closer to 45 minutes. And I find 30 minutes is about his interest level. So as well as it's still cooperative, he loves the Andors and the Kids Chronicles. If he wants to get into something kind of competitive, I really enjoyed Quacks, a Quedlinburg, or I really enjoyed Quacks, and I would just cut out some of the ingredients for him so that it would, kind of to put it down where his level until we built up into the full game. Maybe that, or even Stop Thief. That was a big hit. After Kids Chronicles. We got into Stop Thief. There's a cooperative version of it. He loves it. That's one of 3 games that he has actually requested to play again. So yeah, maybe check that out. Oh, Jess, was it hard for you to start appearing in videos on the channel? Nervous at all? You seem very comfortable. I am very comfortable. I've heard that. I know I talk really fast, and I know sometimes that comes across as like nervousness or anxiety, and it's not. I just tend to get really excited, very excitable, and so I have to like hold myself back. I just feel like I always have a lot to say, and it's like get it all out. So yeah, no, I'm not. I don't really get anxiety like being in front of crowds. The camera was a little bit odd to get used to because I don't see anybody. So it's kind of this weird, like I'm talking to myself, but not really because I know there's people out there. So it was weird to wrap my head around kind of, but no, I'm not. I mean, I'd have no problem public speaking. And then again, being a competitive swim coach, and it was a really large team. We had about 500 kids on the team. So, dealing with all those parents and parent meetings, whereas in front of all those parents, that kind of stuff, it's public speaking doesn't really bother me. This was a little bit of a mental switch because it's still public speaking, but not really because I can't see the public. But no, I've not really had, I don't think I've had a problem with it. It hasn't bothered me. Oh, thank you, James. I'm glad we got to run into each other at Gen Con. Fantastic. Yes, I love meeting people. I think that's a lot of fun going to these conventions. Like I was just talking about the mindset of being behind the camera and knowing there's people out there. But I think that's what conventions really bring to it. It's getting to see that other side of the camera, and interacting with people, and realizing that, kind of seeing the other side of what we do. There is another side that, it's not just these four walls here surrounding me, and I'm not just talking to myself. And so it's really fun to meet people. Have you ever had a weird pet? Do you have a pet now? I do have my 2 dogs, and that's it. They do live with my ex, but I see them often. And have I ever had a weird pet? I grew up on a farm, so I had a lot of weird pets, I guess. And then I ate them. So, kind of. What do you do to negate game fatigue? I think this is a fantastic question, Connor. Game fatigue, it is a real thing, right? Just to make sure that you don't get stuck in this rut of games or work and only work. And I think what I have to do with that is just play some of my favorite games. And even sometimes here in the office, if you play 3 or 4 games in a row that are bad, it's like, okay, I need to play a game that I know I like. No more gambles. And so I think that's it. It's just returning to some old favorites. I'm really saddened by the idea that most games only get played once. That really is hard for me to wrap my head around because I'm like, no, if I really like a game and I'm going to rate it highly, then I want to make sure I take those opportunities to play it more. I think that, and then just stepping away. Gaming can be very right in front of you, in your face, and I think sometimes just step out. And that's when I spend some time outside, whether it's, like I said, going to the Everglades, going for a walk, just making sure that I take time to step outside and explore other hobbies in it. And that's what works for me, is just trying to kind of maintain that balance of making sure there's other things I do, maybe sometimes just taking a Saturday and going out and do something, going to the Keys for the day, or going and grocery shopping in person rather than a grocery pickup order, something like that. Just kind of get outside and make sure that I'm part of the world as well, so that I'm not just so hyper focused on what's in front of me, is what really works for me. Or just play some old games that I really enjoy. I think that's very rejuvenating and reviving to be like, yes, this is a fun hobby. It has so much to offer, So yeah, either explore other hobbies or just find something fun in the hobby that kind of brings that energy back is how I do it. Let's see. How do I feel about Chris hating my dogs? Does he hate my dogs? Chris, do you hate my dogs? I don't think I knew that. I have thoughts now. Also, if we're talking about my dogs, I am way behind here. That's okay. Yes, Trogdor. Okay, yeah, we're just kind of getting up on the dogs here. Oh, Chad, you have a giant schnauzer? I love giant schnauzers. Oh, they're so cute and they're hyperallergenic, and so like their hair doesn't get everywhere. Yeah, I've always said if he has Great Dane in his bloodline. Oh my gosh. Feel free to send me a picture, Camilla@dicetower.com, of your dog. I would love to see him. No, I thought if I didn't get a Great Weimar, a giant Schnauzer would be the only other breed. I had a boxer, and I love boxers, but oh my gosh, I have probably spent 40 hours of that dog's life chasing her. Like, she was so all over the place. So I wouldn't go back. That's just I'm too old now for a boxer. I am too old for the boxer. But yeah, I always said giant Schnauzer. If I didn't do another Great Weimar is what I would do. So, fantastic, Chad. Have my dogs met Toms yet? Yes, actually, the last cruise we used the same dog sitter, so they got along. And that was before he had Twilight, so it's just with Fuzzy. But yeah, our dogs have met. All right. Let's see. All right, will you be the Dice Tower Retreat this year? What kind of games are you looking forward to playing with the amazing people that attend? Trogger the Burninator. Yeah, I am going to be at the retreat, and I'm really excited about it. The retreat and the cruise, but more so the retreat are a lot of fun for us because we go and get to play games. I mean, East and West, I'm there playing games as well, but there's different shows, and especially East, I'm part of a lot of the organization and the running of that. So it's just fun. I'm really excited to go and actually play games. It's I get to see you guys and I meet you and say hi and talk about games, but so rarely do we get to sit down and play together. And so I'm really excited about playing at the retreat. And what kind of games am I looking forward to? I don't care. I mean, I was just laughing. I was like, at Gen Con, I played the Meadow expansion, and that's it. And then at Dice Tower East, I did not play a single game. So it's like 2 cons now that I've been to and haven't played games. So I'm really looking forward to the retreat for that, and also the cruise coming up in January for that, just to, again, meet y'all, but also play some games, whether they're my favorite I'm bringing or some of your favorite. I think that's what kind of games. I'm excited to play games that people are excited about. Whether it's some of their old favorites, whether it's the new hotness, something I'm teaching, they're teaching, I don't care. There's such an energy behind that, and it's palpable, and it's also just contagious, So I'm excited to play games that people are excited about. Feel free to teach me your favorite. Do you ever sing "The System Is Down" when something goes wrong in the studio, or the others not appreciate Strong Bad enough? I'll say Roy is my closest Strong Bad compadre, so he's probably the only one that would understand that reference. And he's just recently moved his desk close enough to mine where I could, so I think I will. Let's see. Do. What's your favorite game you've played this year, and why is it Bloody Inn? It actually wouldn't be Bloody Inn. Gosh, this year? I really need to think about these questions before I put it up there. Again, maybe it's just like so fresh on my mind, but the Meadow expansion was really, I really, really enjoyed that. Maybe Skate Summer. I don't know. I really enjoyed Skate Summer. That was just such a cool theme and a lot going on, but also just very functional, So I really enjoyed Skate Summer. That's quite possibly my favorite so far. Mosquitoes are nasty. Yep. Gray Fox, what's your favorite non-board game YouTube channel? Probably Sam the Cooking Guy. He's got some yummy stuff. But unfortunately, my YouTube is my feed, that I recommend is a whole lot of skateboarding videos and a whole lot of Minecraft playthroughs because my son uses my account. So those would be my least favorite. definitely have to scroll through those a lot. Although there are some cool skateboarding ones out there as well. And I get excited about those too because he'll, send me a text about a video that he watched or whatever, and then I'll be able to watch it. And so some of the skateboarding ones are cool. I really like, I don't think it's a specific channel, but I really like the little short compilations. Kind of reminds me of the old America's Funniest Home Videos, right? Where it's like all the little shorts, and it just takes one that just like gets you laughing and then you can't stop, So I really like stupid little short videos as well. Are you a sports fan? Yes, I am. I really enjoy college football. I really enjoy swimming in general. Obviously, I follow that, on the national scale. But then college football, SEC, Tennessee fan, kind of an LSU fan after Tennessee, I would say. But yeah, college football and swimming are the ones that I really follow. But there are few sports that I wouldn't watch. Like if someone's excited about a sport, I can get into it with them as well. Like I just enjoy it as well. I mean, recently went to a pro soccer game and enjoyed that. Really enjoy hockey games. Yeah, I am a sports fan. Maybe the biggest in the office. I don't know. I know Mike's into sports as well, so it might be between the two of us. But yeah, we both like sports. Ba 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 ba. Do do do. Everglades at night is awesome. Yowzas. Ooh, have you seen, do you like The Sandman? I haven't yet. No, I've been busy, doing some other stuff over the last week. It was my son's birthday, and so I haven't had a chance to, but I'm really excited. I did watch the first of the She-Hulk one that came out, that episode, and that was fun. Look forward to following that series. But no, The Sandman, I definitely want to. I just haven't had a chance to check it out. So soon. Oh yes, have you ever played disc golf? I'm a fellow outdoor lover and it's one of my favorite hobbies next to kayaking. I really enjoy disc golf. I've had a hard time down here with it because again of the mosquitoes. They are nasty and atrocious, but maybe this winter there is a disc golf place not far from my house now. So it's a lot of fun. It's a really low key sport, right? It's definitely its own sport. But it's kind of like golf and it's kind of like, it's just a lot of different sports kind of combined. I really, really enjoy it. Oh wow, now we're still talking about Meadow. What do you like more, an elephant or a donkey? Don't tell Z, but definitely an elephant. But I've actually seen a donkey in real life. Oh, and they have the big ears. But the elephant has the trunk. Definitely an elephant. What does your family think of you reviewing games and working at the Dice Tower? Do any watch your videos? No, they don't. So my extended family, like my parents, my brothers, they are shocked that I actually get paid, and I'm pretty sure they don't actually understand what I'm doing. So, no. Do you miss the marble race as much as we do? I do actually. It's been long enough. At first, it's definitely, that's probably one of the most energetic things that we do, where it's like, all right, here we go, pump up, get excited. But now that it's been a couple weeks, I do, and I'm looking forward to them starting back. So awesome. Yes, definitely join us for marble races. They are a lot of fun. Do you paint your minis? Heard about Project Elite from you and almost have it fully painted up. Wow, you almost have it fully painted? That is impressive. I've painted all the bad guys, not the good guys, because I don't know, I enjoy monsters more, so all my monsters are painted. But yes, I do paint them up, and I'm still working on Project Elite. Kudos if you have it all done, because that was a lot. Coffee or tea? If so, do you add anything to your coffee or tea? Definitely tea. Coffee is one of those things that I enjoy the smell, but it's not an edible smell to me. It's like a vanilla candle. Oh, I like that smell, but I don't want to eat it. That's how coffee is, especially like if someone's drinking coffee and you can smell it like on them. It's a huge ugh. So yeah, I don't enjoy coffee at all. But tea, I really enjoy tea. Like I really like herbal teas or the really earthy, deep ones, like a rooibos or something like that. So do I add anything? Sometimes I'll add a little sugar, a little cream, but I just like plain old coffee. All right, I'm gonna go really quickly here. I'm sorry I did not get to all the questions. But I think that's gonna be it today. Playing Splendor. Ooh, curious about the Cthulhu comic book. I'll have to look it up and remember which one it was. I don't know. But that was fun. That was fun. All right, that's going to be it for me today. Thank you for joining me here for a Q&A. I don't know that we have anything else live today, but definitely check in for the rest of the week here. We have some crowd surfing coming up and a couple different things, so look forward to seeing you there. Bye.